This episode of the Esoteric Order of Roleplayers is brought to you by the generosity of our backers on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/esotericrp to find out how you can become a backer too. We create and broadcast these episodes live on native lands. We acknowledge these are unceded lands, with diverse communities maintaining connections to these places, and recognize their ancestors, their elders, both past and present, and future generations. Learn more by visiting the Native American Rights Fund website at narf.org. The Esoteric Order of Roleplayers present Ruins of the Lost Realm, a campaign for the One Ring role-playing game, with David Larkins as the Lore Master. All right, so we are gathered again for what will likely be the ultimate session. Last week was the penultimate session. And we were just saying right before I hit record, well, we're going to see how long y'all can hold out here. I'm just going to do a quick recap and feel free to interject. But basically last session was infiltrating the catacombs and dungeons beneath Mount Graham. Initially, with the objective of freeing these prisoners that have been brought in, which you have successfully accomplished, and they are now with you. Your mission has now evolved after Melly caught sight of the orcish hive, the orcish pits, crawling with untold scores, if not hundreds of orcs. Very Lovecraftian, very that one story that I can't think of, but you all know. Everyone knows what I'm thinking about, so
no, we really don't. So it's okay. I was thinking more like aliens and stuff.
Yeah, also aliens, yeah, which was, of course, Lovecraftian in some way.
Yes.
But yeah, so having seen that and being like, oh wow, like all these orcs are going to be coming for the Shire if we don't like chop the head off the proverbial snake. You now all are going after the leader of the orcs of Mount Graham, a certain Radgul, or Radgul, as you all were joking.
Roger.
Pronounced like Roger. Exactly.
Radgul.
Radgul.
I feel like this is like our like, Rogue One this is our Rogue One episode. We're all going down. It's for the greater good.
We're gonna find out if this is Rogue One or New Hope by the end of this.
Oh no. I'm already crying.
Right. So
all right.
So I think Haleth is looking to sell his life dearly. But may survive. I mean, you've survived thus far on one endurance point. You survived an entire session.
Ironically, I may be the only survivor.
Wouldn't that be something? That would really be something. This is why we play. We play to find out what happens.
That's true.
Is this why?
Is it though? Is this why?
Maybe.
So yeah, and what else? Oh well, we had 3 out of the 4 of you go mad from Shadow Point accumulation. Yeah. So all of you are even if you all survive, you're going to emerge changed people, which is of course very on brand, on theme for Tolkien. But yeah, we had some madness. Melly ran away and has now hooked up again with the rest of the party. so that's good. And y'all killed an undead Dunedain, so there was that as well. And I had this note to myself to look this up, and of course I didn't. But I feel like there's a thing in the rules where a weapon can like gain a kind of attribute or something like that. Famous weapons and armor. Yeah, there we go. Anyway, I was kind of thinking that Silumir, your sword, because you use that to take down the
Aleph sword.
I know it's Hal's sword as wielded by Silumir, so it's kind of like with your powers combined.
Yes.
But anyway, I kind of thought maybe
cool.
At this point it's picked up a bane against the undead. So however that works mechanically, I don't know, but we'll just make a note of that.
Still, you wielding the sword.
Yeah.
Just make a note.
Yes.
I'll give it back to you when we get out of here.
Yeah.
So who else Kukui and who isn't? Like, I don't.
Kukui.
I'm just wondering.
Oh yeah, it's called an enchanted reward. Yes. So there you go. Your sword picked up an enchanted reward. Bane against the undead.
Very cool. So who all is mad and who isn't?
So all of you,
I think we got over it, right?
Yeah, all of you, your madness has passed.
All right, that's what I was.
Got it out of our system.
You got it out of your system.
Right.
Shadow points have been reduced to 0, or possibly a point or two higher than 0, since you continue to pick up shadow points even after your madness.
Yeah.
Haleth was okay. Haleth did not go mad. So
I did not.
He's just fighting for his life. Physically, but not mentally.
Right.
Mentally, I'm fine, which might be worse.
Might be worse. Yeah, the cold clarity of rational sanity.
Because the madness wiped out our shadow points.
It did. It knocked it down to 0. Again, you might have picked up 1 or 2.
I did pick up 1. I picked up 1.
There you go. So, and that's perilous for Melly, because I believe your hope is down to 2. So
yeah, my hope is 2.
Yeah, so you can really only afford to pick up 1 more shadow point before you go mad on the point number 3. Just remember, if it's exceeds, or no, not mad, sorry, miserable, right? Miserable.
Okay.
Point number 3, and then if it hits your total hope, that's when you go mad. And so people were going mad left, right, and center last time, because we had the aforementioned undead Dunedain was just dishing out shadow points like there was no tomorrow. I even forgot that I should have had you try and resist 3 more shadow points. So yeah, he was a bitch, and not in a good way. Not the good kind of bitch.
Yeah, that's true. It's a spectrum of bitchiness.
It is. Are you a good bitch or a bad bitch?
Bad bitch. In this case, you probably want to. Well, never mind. We don't have time for this.
Moving on.
Distracting. It's too distracting.
Okay, so I think that about covers it. Y'all are in the bowels of the orc warrens. You have a notion that Radgul is normally sort of, he has like a little throne room that he spends most of his time in, that's up nearer to the main entrance, the one big screaming demon face entrance. And so your objective is to kind of work your way up through the catacombs and eventually reach his area, at least, if not his throne room, whatever, find the bastard and kill him, essentially. So any questions as I get some music going here? Any questions or other things, comments?
I mean, we're really doing this.
Critiques?
We're fine with this.
Stars and wishes, roses and
stars and wish. I don't.
Hopes and prayers.
Hopes and prayers, thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers, yeah.
Please.
Send some prayer emojis for us, please.
Prayers up in the comments, yeah.
So okay.
Each like equals 1 prayer, each read
equals 1 goblin killed.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it does. What are you thinking?
I don't know. I want to make sure we're really clear that we want to do this. That's all.
Yeah, because you could turn around and leave. That
That's
is an
another option.
That is an option. But you
Yeah,
of all the company were the one who was sort of hell bent on it, honestly.
Was I?
You
Yeah.
were. You had this whole idea of like basically your companions would take on whoever was around Radgul, and then you'd like zip in there with your dagger and just bury it in his back.
Yeah, because I'm good at that kind of stuff. So yeah, let's do it, man. I'm all for it. Let's go.
All right.
in real time watching Des just get back into character. Like, oh yeah, that's what I was doing. That's right.
Oh, right.
And I'm there.
On the mask. There it is.
It's true. Unless I usually listen back. I didn't get to listen back this time, and so I have no idea what I was saying, but that sounds like something I would say.
Sounds like something you'd say, yeah.
Yeah. Because I think we were just so like, okay, if you distract these other guys, I'll just do my stealthy stuff because I do have that. It's a pretty good skill. Let me just double check here. Yeah. So my stealth is notable in like 3. So I'm like, yeah, okay. So cool.
Yeah. You're carrying on the long tradition of role-playing RPG, halfling / hobbit, assassin thief type characters. So
yeah,
there you go.
Yeah,
there you go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any other new or old business anyone wants to address before we jump back in?
I think we're good.
We're good. Okay. Time permitting, we were talking about maybe doing a little epilogue of just talking about our thoughts on the campaign and on the game itself, the system. If we don't have time today, maybe we can make some time later, put that out on the Patreon. But otherwise, let's get into it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I will hit play on Musica Not So Caliente. And that should be coming through momentarily. There you go. Okay, so we're in the dungeon. What's the plan?
Well, can you just describe the surroundings a little bit more?
Sure. You're near the orc pits. You're in an empty chamber that is relatively quiet. So it's giving you a chance to sort of regroup. You have approximately a dozen of these human and hobbit prisoners with you. Silumir has basically told them to, hitch up their britches, stop their whiny complaining, and get with the program. Because now Silumir's kind of a jerk.
Wait, what? Why is he a jerk?
Because of his madness. He's contemptuous.
That's right. That's right.
Resentful.
Yes. Oh, okay, I'm remembering now. Yeah. Okay.
But it did work. It did have the intended effect. So they're like, jaws set, grim-faced men and hobbits. They've picked up swords looted from the dead bodies of the orcs and clubs and other random, implements that they pulled out of the dungeon. So everyone's got some level of something. They're armed to some degree, and are ready to sell their lives dearly if needs be.
All right. Okay, so I'm gonna take out my short sword and I'm gonna look at the group and say, like, I'm ready when you are.
The faster we do this, the faster we can get Haleth the help he needs.
Yeah. Okay.
I imagine Haleth is not looking good at this point. He's probably pale as a sheet.
Yeah, probably using his great bow as like a walking stick, so he's either leaning up against the sides of the cavern or using his bow, not really talking much, probably staring at the ground like, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oda's gonna kind of clap Melly on the shoulder and say, I'll follow you, General.
Oh. All right.
Nice.
Marley, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I think what we were planning on doing was heading towards the front gate, since that's where he likely was staying, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then hopefully finding my equipment along the way too, since it was likely stored up there, but maybe not.
That's right. Yes, you were sans equipment, which is why you had Hala's sword. Okay. Let me make a quick roll here. Let's see.
Does your t-shirt say "Who will survive"?
Yes, and what will be left of them?
Apt.
Yeah, just
Checking.
Texas
Did you do that on
Chainsaw
purpose?
Massacre, and yes, I did do that on purpose. So. All right. Oh, lovely. Okay, so who wants to? Who's got the best explorer skill?
I think I do.
I think it is Oda, yeah.
Yeah, I've got 3, and then it's favored.
I think Oda leads the way then.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, go ahead and roll explorer, and let's see if you can figure out a way up.
Okay.
Okay.
Why
By
can't I
one.
see it? Oh, there it is. All right.
All right, so you wander about for a bit, passing through many empty halls. Your way is lit by some iron torch brackets, I guess, that you took from the dungeons down below. You do not find any stairs or other conveyances upwards. And after about half hour or so, or what feels like a half hour at least, since time really does not exist down here, you have wandered into a mercifully empty and yet still quite unnerving room full of orcish torture implements, racks, and cages, and so forth. Not unlike the dungeons you escaped from below. This chamber, though, is clearly dedicated strictly to torture. There are no holding cells or anything.
Hey. Is there anything around that looks dangerous or?
Oh, all kinds of things. Yeah, I mean, hooks and varying sharpened blades, little iron bristled brushes for sticking into sensitive parts of the body, all kinds of things.
All right. Are there any other smaller blades that I could take?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So I think I'll take an extra blade.
Damn.
What?
Take him out with his own weaponry.
Yeah.
That would be ironic. All right. Excellent. Let's do another explore roll.
The pressure.
No pressure.
None.
Aha!
Okay.
Hey, with a great success, no
Yay!
less. Okay. All right. So beyond the torture chamber, you find another hall, but it very quickly terminates with an upward staircase. Following that, I think with a great success, you pass through a door after listening at it for a suitable interval, and enter into another one of these sort of octagonal chambers. This one very high vaulted. The top of the vault has an iron grating over it, and you can hear the sound of orc voices kind of filtering down. But even more importantly, this is obviously where they're keeping a lot of their ill-gotten loot that they haven't had a chance to sort and disseminate. And so Silmir, you spot your trusty pack and your weapons over in a corner.
I'm gonna grab that stuff real fast.
Uh-huh.
Pass Haleth back his blade. Thank you for the assistance.
Which is now glowing slightly with a cold, icy blue.
Yes. All right. Are there is there treasure and stuff there?
Yeah, I would say pretty much everything that was looted from these prisoners. So in fact, the folks who are with you begin to spread out and identify the stuff that was taken from them.
Okay. All right.
Oh, and Melly?
Yeah.
Your box of salt is sitting on a table.
They were training the magpies.
Yes. So I run to it and I grasp it quickly and I wrap it up and put it back into my pack.
Right. Perhaps it is a good omen.
Yes, better be. So, all right. So I'll say, let's keep going. We're getting closer, I think.
Do you want to continue to explore the halls, or do you want to I mean, I assume somebody's got some rope. You could always try earning your presidential physical fitness award and climb the rope up to the iron grating overhead.
I have a rope.
But if we would all have to climb the rope to get into the there.
That's true.
We'd be right in the middle of a bunch of orcs.
Yeah.
Goblins.
Also
alone.
true.
But maybe we could just
And
listen
tired because he just climbed a rope.
Hello.
Ah.
Just give me a chance to get out of here, and then we'll,
I'm just gonna catch my breath and then we can fight. So could I just listen in, maybe?
Yeah, sure.
Maybe they're saying something, or so. What do I do? Do I
Awareness.
climb or
Awareness?
Awareness. Okay, sorry. Did you say that?
No.
Oh, okay. Great success.
Nice. All right.
Okay.
So, you don't speak Orcish, of course.
No.
But you would guess you can hear their words pretty clearly, and you do hear a couple of words that you recognize. Most chillingly, perhaps Shire.
No. Okay.
But also, just judging from the sort of obsequious tone of most of the speakers, and then an occasional voice that sounds very authoritative, would say that you are in the proximity of this throne room.
Okay.
Oh.
Whoa.
Goodness.
That
really
No
it got juicy.
up there.
really put the button on that.
All right. So I'll turn to the group and I'll just say, we're close to where they are. I don't think it's very much further.
And I'll turn to the rest of the group. You need to steel yourselves. There will be many of them in there.
I know Radgul's in there for sure. Right? Radgul?
Yes, Radgul.
Okay.
Radgul.
I know
the primary target.
Yes. So.
Okay.
Let's keep going.
I'm going to say that that's good enough for a bonus die to Oda's next explore roll.
Yeah. All right.
Huh.
Yay!
Ah.
Great success.
Nice. So, as you might imagine, it's just a short jaunt down a hall before reaching a spiral staircase that presumably leads up to at least the vicinity of this throne room. There is a iron door, but with that great success, it has been left unlocked and ajar.
Okay.
Orcs clearly overconfident, thinking nobody's gonna make it down here,
No one's
much less
dumb
be
enough
coming
to
in. Yeah, who's
break into
dumb
our
enough?
room.
That's right. So, yes, how would you like to proceed?
Can we peek in and try and see how many people we're dealing with in there?
Yeah.
Of course, I'll need a stealth roll to get up the stairs stealthily. From whomever wishes to do so.
Melly, you are small and quiet.
Okay.
Can you
Sure.
sneak up there and see what we're dealing with?
Yes.
Just re-listening and remembering how much jewelry I'm currently wearing.
Yep.
That's right.
I'm not the stealthy one.
I'll go.
Jewelry. It's not too bad.
So I have no bonus dice here, right? That was just from the last roll, correct?
That's correct.
All right. Success, regular. That's fine.
All right. So you stealth your way up the steps.
Yes.
And good thing you did too, because even though the orcs are clearly overconfident, they are not foolish, and so they do have a single guard posted at the top of the stairs. Of course, his back is to you because, again, they're not expecting anyone to be coming up.
Mm-hmm.
But he's just so you're kind of you come up around the spiral steps, and unexpectedly find yourself face to face with orc ass, made even worse by the fact that he's sort of idly scratching his butt cheek.
And you're like eye level.
I know, I'm like right there.
Sort of scratching at a little wart on his butt cheek, and but he's otherwise, his other hand is grasping the shaft of a spear, and you can see that beyond him is clearly like kind of an entry or antechamber. Mm-hmm. And then you can hear those same voices coming from off to the right. And then off to the left, you actually detect for the first time in what feels like a lifetime, but certainly several hours, a bit of fresh air moving through the chamber.
Whoa.
And you can see a bit of daylight filtering through. So presumably that's where the main entrance is.
Okay.
So you're near the exit and also near the throne room, basically.
Okay, and so can I count how many orcs are there, or?
No, you just have the one guy in front of you.
Can I hear the different voices and maybe possibly estimate?
Well, I think not so much right now, but from your earlier roll.
Yeah.
Let's see if I have any guidance on this in the text. Other than there is a sidebar that says, if the player characters attempted a frontal assault, you're completely within your rights to kill them all. It says here, if the player heroes are so foolish to enter Mount Graham openly, they face certain capture or death. The lore master is free to seal the company's fate, either killing them in a hopeless battle or by throwing them into a cell in the haunted dungeons.
Okay, so do they want people to keep playing this game, or just like what in the world?
I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory. Not to walk into the giant.
Yeah.
Don't walk in through the giant demon face gate. Yeah.
Right.
That feels like something that came out of playtesting, where they're just like, I guess I have to write this shit down.
Yeah.
That feels very. Oh yeah, we should probably specify.
Probably mention that. Yeah.
It's one thing if you're playing a tactical fantasy game where, like, if you're all playing Gandalf, sure, walk in the front of the mountain. No one cares because you're going to be able to, like, flip them out of existence. But if we're all just normal people, it's a mountain of orcs.
Exactly. So, you were estimating that there were at least 3 other orcs talking to Radgul.
Okay.
Possibly more.
Okay. Between 3 and 5, and then these 2 guards. The guards aren't contributing to the conversation.
Guard singular. So there's just the one guard, and then there were like 3 in the throne room.
3 to 5.
Yeah.
Okay, so all told, we'll say up to 6 total.
Yeah.
We can do this. So I get excited and I creep back down to the group, and I just say, I think there's about 6 orcs. I think we can do this.
Bring it on.
All right. Okay. So, what do we want to do? Do we want to like burst in and I'll just run for the big guy, or what do you want to?
Yes. Also, we need to consider that if it's a throne room, it might be attached to a larger room outside where there would have more waiting.
True.
So if we can bar the doors to any other rooms, they don't receive easy reinforcements while we handle this situation.
Okay.
Halif, is that something you think you can handle?
He would, nodding, like, mechanically, he's much better with a sword. So he's putting the bow away. He knows he's going into close combat. He's got his sword. He's just like, all right, this is very much like, if I'm going to go down, this is when I'm going to go down. But I'm not going to go down easy. This needs to be done.
And Silamir is more like he doesn't want to insult Halif, but he also doesn't want him engaged directly. So go close a door. That's really important. Just don't die.
Right.
And Oda, you and I can lead the charge. Nelly, you go for the boss.
Okay.
And the rest of you take down any goblin that you see and stop any more from entering. This is our one shot at protecting the Shire.
Yeah.
This is more important than any of our lives here. Us escaping only to allow them to attack innocents at the heart of the country is unacceptable. If you wanted to leave, now's the time to do it. Okay. If not, we need to steel our hearts and prepare to die here defending innocents.
So one of the men of Bree steps forward and he says, "Before they captured you, they tortured my brother to death. I cannot leave here without avenging his life." And everyone else sort of nods. You can see on their faces that, after everything they've been put through, both on their journey here and after being consigned to the dungeons, nobody has any interest in letting these orcs off without at least a bloody nose, if not more.
All right.
Turn that pain into fire. And let's go burn them.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. Nice.
All right. So, first step, you've got the orc soldier at the top of the, or orc guard rather, at the top of the steps.
Naja, would Oda want to lead the charge, or do you want Cylinder?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You'll have the drop on him, so you get one attack for free before he can really do anything. So let me get his stats in front of me here.
Little dwarf feet just running upstairs.
Yeah. That's right.
Jingling the whole time.
Yeah. The sound of many rings jingling. All right, so he functionally has 0 parry.
Okay.
So go for it.
Okay. I imagine she, as much as we're joking, does sneak up pretty quietly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
0 parry, you said.
0 parry. Yeah.
Great success.
Nice. All right, so you can make that an extra bit of damage there. So that is additional damage equal to your strength. We got damage of 7, and then your strength is what exactly? Remind me again. Was it also 7 or was it 6? I forget.
I think strength rating is 6.
Rating is 6. Okay, so that's 13 endurance total. And this dude has way less than 13. So yeah, so he's just standing there sniffing his fingers now, and then suddenly suddenly if someone were looking at him from the front, he'd be like, and then suddenly his whole body would just kind of fall into 2 pieces in either direction. So, and there's a dwarf just standing behind him with the axe in kind of ready position,
Nice.
covered in orc blood already. So, so he had no chance to raise the alarm. Oda, as you move out into the antechamber, you can see indeed that there is a kind of the gatehouse, if you will, off to your left. You can see the little spiky bits of the portcullis on the far end of that gatehouse, and then gray sky beyond.
And is it open?
It is open, yes. You can also just make out a guard post, so there are definitely going to be guards at the front entrance, but again, they have not been alerted to your presence. So to your
Oda
right,
just books it. Oda's like, peace.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah. So yeah, to your directly in front of you, you see some cells, caged off cells, but nobody's in them currently. And then to your right, you can see a large double door. Perhaps infuriatingly, it still bears the intricate carvings of its original dwarven craftsman, but has been much abused by orcs. They've defaced several of the dwarven names and reliefs that were on the door, and it's otherwise just in terrible condition. They've not been keeping it up at all. But the doors are shut. You can still hear the voices inside. There's seems to be some sort of argument underway, as is fairly typical for orcs. So There you go, and your companions are coming up right behind you.
Imagine
Yes.
I would like gesture to indicate that there would be guards. So we're gonna try to like sneak into the other room because no one's been alerted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then since it's probably our last, Oda's also like she gets so pissed off at the defacing of the dwarven thing, she like takes 3 fingers and like roots around in the half of a corpse and then just does like a stripe down her face. And then does it to Melly too.
Oh shit! Nice.
All right, let's do it.
Get some bloodlust going here.
Sure. I
All
love
right.
it. I love it. I love it. It's great. It's good.
All right.
All right.
That'll be good for a bonus die on any intimidate foe task that you wish to attempt.
That's what I was hoping for. I was waiting. I mean, I like it for effect, but I'm like, can we get a bonus, please, for the love of God?
Mechanically, how is this working? Yeah.
I know you didn't. Yeah, I know, but it's good. All right.
Okay.
Right, so to the right, you said is going out. It's leaving. There's a guardhouse there, but that's
left.
the way left. Sorry, left. And to the right is deeper in. That's where we hear the talking.
Yes.
And Roger's that way, most likely.
Yes.
Yes. Roger. Yes.
Roger.
He's French.
Ferrero Rocher.
Roger and his thesaurus. All right. That's an old school
Yes.
college student joke for everyone out there. All right, so what's the plan? Do you want to like just kick open the door? Oh no, you wanted to be stealthy.
We're being as stealthy
All right,
as possible.
so everyone please make a stealth roll for me.
Oh my god.
This is not going to go well for me.
No.
Not my strongest.
Success.
Oh.
Silver.
Mostly I'm just hoping not to see any Eye of Saurons. So
Okay.
Aleph. Wow.
Wow.
That's a weary failure, but nevertheless.
I am weary and miserable, so
Yes.
don't expect much out of me.
Yeah.
All right, so Melly and Silumir, you two are like the wind. You arrive at the door, hardly making a noise. Oda, you can't help but clink and clank a little bit. And Halith, you don't give away the position, but there's a little bit of a cough as you're trying to like hustle to keep up with everyone, and your lungs are like, please, for the love of God.
Oh.
We're not cut out for this right now.
Right.
But it's not enough to alert anybody, so
Oh.
but I will
Wow.
say that Melly and Silumir, you are the ones who are like at the door, so it'll be on you, like how you want to open the portal, go in, etc.
Okay. I mean, I guess just like I'm picturing we're walking through the antechamber, correct?
Correct.
And
Yes.
so there's another door. Is that what you're saying?
It's the big double doors.
Got
that
it.
have been
Got it.
defaced.
Okay. That's right. The face double doors. Okay, so I think just like I feel like it would just be to get into the room. I feel like that would be our stealth move, right? To be able to just get into the room.
The stealth move was to get across the antechamber without alerting the guards behind you now, who are guarding the front entrance, or anybody in the throne room. So from this point out, you can decide how you want. If you want to try and stealth your way through the door, you can certainly attempt to do so. It would involve pushing the door open, so I would probably give you like a penalty on that. But
I don't know, Silumir, what do you think? Because part of me just wants to stealth my way as far as possible. So like even if they hear other commotion of everyone coming through, we won't be seen, and we could like get some type of an advantage. I don't know.
The only thing that's they're having like a whispered conversation.
Yeah.
The only thing that makes me nervous is leaving people behind us.
I know.
And our only exit. If something goes bad, that's our way out.
True.
And they can close the portcullis and trap us in.
Yeah. Okay. How about, I mean, I don't know. I mean, at this point, I'm just feeling we just need to go in and just start cracking skulls. and just start tearing stuff apart. And the commotion, I mean, just make it happen. Just like start. Part of me just wants to start because it just doesn't seem like there's any advantage to continuing to be quiet. I don't know.
I agree. And how about we air the other way? And
going to the light.
Just like throw the doors open.
Yeah.
Try to take them with shock. Mm-hmm. I mean, we might die in this mountain. Let's give them a show.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm all for that.
Doke.
Okay, the only thing I'm gonna ask then is I turn to like the gaggle of NPCs that have been following us. It's like, maybe we should send them.
Yeah.
To secure the way out and stop the portfolio from closing.
There we go.
Guards. Go get the guards, you guys.
Go kill the guards.
Yeah.
We have a mighty death to pursue.
Yeah.
I think they're down with that. That's fine.
And then come back and help us.
Please.
Once you did it.
Okay, now you went and did it. They're like, yeah, no, that sounds great. Oh, that's the exit, you say?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Remember the speech I gave earlier? Like, come on.
Yeah.
You were all down for it then.
Yeah.
Come back. All right. No, but yeah, they nod. They're on board with the plan. Just waiting on your signal.
All right.
Okay.
Well, Oda has a hell of a signal.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Look, halfway maniacal. They're not expecting this.
Right.
Yeah. Crazy like a fox. All right. Mm-hmm. So you're kicking the doors in?
Yeah, I'm gonna kick it and jump. I mean, I'm open to other.
I love it. I'm good with this. I'm fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. In go the doors.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the doors are kicked open, and in the split second before the combat is joined, you take in, all of you, with your adrenaline pumping with crystal clarity. You see exactly the layout that presents itself to you. As you might imagine, it's an old dwarven hall. It has some mighty pillars. There were, I should say, light wells to let in the sun, but these have been covered with skins. We'll just leave it at that. And so there's this kind of dim half light throughout the throne room. There's several like braziers burning, so the air is kind of smoky. You can see there's an old dwarven stone throne up on a big stone dais, and this too has been covered in various animal furs and skins. There's a dwarf skull set atop the throne.
Oh.
Sitting on the throne in a very sort of languid manner with like one leg thrown up over one of the armrests is the biggest orc in the room. He is sort of stroking his chin as he's listening to his advisors argue amongst each other. There's the chief among them is sort of not quite as big as him, but looks like a tough old veteran. And then there's 4 others who are all bickering with this lieutenant.
4.
Yeah, so that's what y'all see.
6. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So again, you have them at your advantage because they would not have thought that suddenly a bunch of non-orcs would just come bursting in the room without tripping some kind of an alarm. Mm-hmm. So y'all have a round of free action. You can rush forward, you can stay in rearward and loose some arrows. Whatever you do.
I just want to run toward my target.
Mm-hmm. You're going for Radgul.
So
yeah.
That's fine.
Kind of limits that
I'm only going to hit things with a sword, maybe. I'm definitely not going to hit with a bow.
Yeah, the bow last time was not great for you, I remember.
No.
So. Okay. Is anybody in rearward stance, I guess, would be the main question. Probably not. No. Okay. Everyone's rushing in. So who are we targeting? I'll use the terminology of the game. We have Radgul, we have an orc guard, and then we have 4 orc soldiers.
Okay. So you want to know like who we're going after, or
so like Melly is going after Radgul, for example.
I'm gonna run and I'm gonna just try to
bob and weave. I will probably go for one of the soldiers.
I'll take the guard.
And I'll just go for another soldier or whoever.
Okay.
I'll try to kind of like cover Melly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, and actually I misspoke. They can attack. They just lose 1 die on their close quarters attacks. They can't make an open. They can't return fire if you're twanging at them. That's what happens in an ambush. So anyway, they will be able to fight back in a melee. So does that change anybody's answers?
Nope.
Don't have a bow.
Still don't have a bow. Yeah. You could throw a dagger at them, though.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So very good. Why don't we do melee first and just see how that goes?
Okay. Should I try to stealth my way through as I'm like weaving through the bigger?
Actually, yes. Because there are a lot of big folk in here, and it does matter whether or not Radgul sees you. I'll just put it that way.
Right. Okay. So I'm stealthing.
Okay.
I'm gonna stealth. I don't have any bonuses, and unless this is because it's a surprise, there's a free move. Is that?
It's your stance is kind of like integrated into the movement,
Okay.
Like it's sort of assumed that you're moving into whatever stance you want to be in. So
okay, so I'm definitely forward, but I don't get a bonus, is what you're saying.
You don't get a bonus on the stealth roll, no.
Okay.
Only on the attack roll.
All right. Success with a Gandalf rune.
Holy moly.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
That's awesome. So yeah, I'm gonna say that Radgul jumps up and he sees these 2 Dunedain and he's like, shouting in Orcish, like, kill the Rangers, that sort of thing. It's like, oh, these stupid Rangers again, again with these guys. So yeah, Melly, you have managed to like bob and weave amongst these orcs who are quickly forming a little, protective wall around their boss.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just come running up the steps with your blades out, and go ahead and make an attack roll as his eyes widen and he quickly, shifts into a defensive stance to try and fend you off.
So I have Intimidate from the blood on my face, correct?
Yes, so that's a combat task. Can you do both? I forget if you can do a task and an attack.
I don't think so.
I think you can only do one
or the other, right? Yeah.
Okay, it doesn't add anything to my...
I mean, if you wanted to intimidate him this round, you could certainly do so.
I want to just attack while I can.
Attack him, okay.
Yeah, while he's surprised. So no bonuses here. And what's his parry? 0 or... Yeah.
His parry is 3.
Of course. Yeah, okay, Here we go. Piercing blow?
Yeah!
Nice.
With a Gandalf fucking rune?
Oh my god.
This is what we've needed.
Oh my god!
Des is like, I'm back on. I love this game.
Okay.
Wow.
Don't count chickens yet.
No.
I'm
amazed. I'm awe-stricken. I don't think I'm great. I'm amazed.
Yeah. Okay, so
this is rare.
This is rare stuff. Okay. So let's see, you're doing 3 damage, and a piercing blow means that I am going to make a protection roll. So let me just go ahead and have him do that. Come on now.
All right.
Wait, whoops. You weren't supposed to see that part.
Wait a minute. Hatred of hobbits? He hates hobbits when fighting hobbits, all the creatures' rolls are favored. Fuck that.
Hit him so
dare
hard his
you.
secrets fell out. Like a pinata.
I know. Hatred hobbit.
Oops. Well, I was going to tell you that anyway.
He's like, oh, I dropped my hatred of hobbits.
Oh, no. It's spilled all over
No,
the
there.
place.
Give me that back.
All right.
I only
Whoops, got your
failed.
coping mechanism.
Right.
There we go. Okay.
Oh no.
So you've done 1 might of damage to him. Remember, if his might hits 0, doesn't matter how much endurance he has left, he dead.
What might? Okay, 1. You said 1 might.
1 might, and normally creatures only have 1 might, but of course he's a boss, so he has more than 1.
Of course.
Okay. So meanwhile, so we will circle back around to him and have him make his attack, but of course the heroes all get their turns first. So Oda, who are you attacking?
Just one of the soldiers.
One of the soldiers.
I think somebody has the guard, right? Lemire, somebody has the
I
guard.
was going to go for the guard,
So
but
Lemire's going for the
seeing
guard?
Melly's wonderful attack, we might want to knock this big guy out real fast and then focus on the weaklings.
Yeah, you can change up. It's fine.
Yeah.
If you want to come in.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna literally who's the one closest to the one I would encounter first.
I mean, the guard was closer to Radgul, and then you have the 4 soldiers, in front of that. So, I mean, Melly got to get to Radgul because of her great success on her stealth roll.
Mhm.
The rest of you are going to have to, sort of fight your way through. So,
Yeah.
So,
So
just one
she
of the
just runs
soldiers.
in, and whoever the first one she meets is.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Let's see here.
Not a whole lot of strategy to it.
No. Let's see. Soldier has a parry of 1. Nice.
Nice.
Okay, so if you apply your extra damage on that with that great success, you can just take your guy out in 1 shot.
Let's do that.
Okay,
Oda the Goblin Slayer.
pretty much. Dang. Okay,
Love it.
Silmir, you are going after the guard, the lieutenant. So go for it.
And I am going to actually stay in open stance because I realized I can't use my free action to rally comrades unless I'm in open stance.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
So that is a thing that I messed up.
Oh,
But yeah, so I'm going to stay in open stance right now.
Okay,
Go after the guard. So he
Parry.
just rushes forward. Sorry?
parry 2 on this guy.
Parry 2, okay. And let's see how this goes first.
Oh.
Oh.
Making up for those Gandalf runes on
Yeah.
Sauron. Okay.
So we clash blades, and as we do though, I lean in and I snarl at him, and you and your kind are not going to blight this land anymore. You are
Ooh.
all dying here today. And I push forward, and I'm going to try and rally everyone around me.
Cool. Love it.
Right.
It's in Hearten, and my engraved pommel gives me a bonus die for that. Now that I have
Yay.
my thing back.
That's right.
Aha!
Yes, yes.
So the great success means everybody in open and in forward gets a bonus die next round.
Yay.
Nice.
And everyone is inspired.
Yay.
Nice. Wow. Inspired. Excellent. So that means if you spend a point of hope, you get 2 bonus dice for that. Okay. Haleth.
Just going for one of the regulars.
Yep. All right. Parry 1 for this guy.
Okay, so I've got my sword. So bonus die. I'm gonna spend a point of hope. 'Cause
Okay.
Yes.
I think I need to.
Yes.
So that's 2 bonus die, and then I'm in forward, which should give me another 1. So that's
Mhm.
3 bonus die.
And actually before, because of my thing.
That's right.
Okay,
Right.
4 bonus die.
Damn.
Target's parry of 1. We're gonna hope that this is enough
Come
to
on.
counteract
man.
all
Come
of the
on.
Good
Ones, 2s, and 3s.
Lord.
Let's go.
Go. Yay!
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you. Even with the
God.
weary, he
Yes. Oh,
did it. That's actually a really good total for weary. Jeez.
it is.
Yeah.
But 4 extra times.
You rolled 5 5s on the.
Mm.
That's amazing. All right. So and yet, No extra successes. Sadly.
All that,
So-
it still only does 6 endurance and damage.
6 endurance. Oh well, that's fine.
Yeah.
The blade's so heavy, I'm just kind of like letting gravity do its thing
Yeah.
and not trying too
kind of
hard.
like,
Yep.
Gotta puncture lung.
Yeah. Oh my god.
What do you expect?
I know. Okay, so that's everyone. So let's see here. Silumir and Haleth are both still, and then of course Melly are still engaged. Oda's going to be free next round. Okay, so we'll do Radgul at the top, and
So-
Melly, you were in forward, right? Or
I was in forward,
Okay.
and also just I didn't really describe my action. I realize.
oh yes, please.
Yeah. So I think if I run up and I did a piercing blow, right? So did I do a little bit of damage?
You did. You did a lot of damage. You took a might point off of him, so
Yeah. So that's
he's
what I was
that much
thinking.
closer to death now.
Yes. So I'm thinking that maybe I just like got him like up in the ribs, you know, like I was just
Yeah.
able to like stab up.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Because
Love
I'm
it.
short in stature.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
Love it.
So I just run up, like yell it, like screaming and like, like in the knife. The short sword goes up into his ribs.
Okay. Love it.
Yeah.
Okay. So he, so he was sort of like insouciantly sitting on the throne with one leg over the arm
Yeah.
of the throne, and then his hand was sort of idly resting on a big old axe. And so when he jumped up as you were running at him, he hefted his axe and he's going to swing it at you now.
All right. you
What is
guys.
your parry, please?
My parry is 18.
Okay, and I
Right.
have to make this a favored roll since he has a hatred of
Because he
hobbits.
hates hobbits a lot for some weird reason.
Everyone's got their hang-ups, you know.
Hmm.
Oh God.
Oh.
Okay.
That's the end of
No.
me. That's the end of that
No.
suit.
Well, it's the end of that suit. Yeah, so that's an Eye of Sauron, which of course counts as a Gandalf for him,
Extraordinary piercing
with an
blow.
extraordinary piercing blow. Okie dokie. Let me just see if there's anything that would get triggered here. Break shield. Well, you don't have a shield.
I don't have a
so-
shield.
Okay, so these will just be adding extra damage then.
Cool.
Go ahead and make a what do I want to say? Protection roll against
Okay.
injury rating of 18.
Okay. Let's do protection. 18, you said?
Mm-hmm.
And no bonus dice, I don't think,
Nope.
here. Nope. Fail. Yeah.
Okay, so you are going to be injured.
Right.
Roll a d12 for me.
Okay. That's a
That's
1.
fine. That's fine. So it's actually a minor injury. It's going to take you a day to recover, assuming you survive. And so with 2 great successes, he will be adding to his damage, and I just need to get to the part that's going to tell me what that looks like. Here we go. Special damage options. All right, break shield, a heavy blow equal to the attribute level of the attacker. Okay, well I think since you came in so hard on him, he's going to spend one of those to oh no, wait a minute. I can't do the parry. Interesting. All right. Well, never mind then. Doopa-doopa-doopa-doo. Okay. So he's going to do a heavy blow and then he's going to seize you.
Okay.
So with that, let's see here. Damage of 5 and then his attribute level. So you're going to take 11 endurance damage.
Oh, okay.
And then he's going to
Alright.
grab hold of you.
Okay.
This means you can only fight in a forward stance making brawling attacks.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I don't have any brawl, I don't think.
Brawling would just use your best weapon skill minus 1 die.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So, Silumir. Got our orc guard here.
Yeah.
So he just grabs me. So can you describe what happened? Like, so,
I thought I did. He hits you with his axe and then he grabs hold of you.
okay, I guess, okay, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Am I within, since the guard was right next to
Mm-hmm.
Sorry,
Radgul.
something's floating right behind my face. Since the guard was right next to Radgul, is it possible to transition to fighting him? Or am I locked in combat with the guard?
You are locked in with the guard, yeah.
Okay.
So he is going to be attacking you, and he has a spear. What is your parry, please?
19.
Okay. You're in open stance, so he doesn't get any bonus dice. 19 parry. That is a success, but just a normal one. So 3 damage to you.
Okay.
All right. And then Haleth, you are fighting a soldier.
Yep.
All right. He also has a spear. And what is your parry, please?
16.
Okay. And were you in forward stance?
Yes.
Okay.
This may be it.
May well be 16. Okay, there we go. Aha!
Oh.
Oh, fail.
By 1. Failed by 1.
Nice.
Okay.
Okay, so now, new round, and now that the orcs are no longer surprised, the goblin archers that they keep posted up in the shadows are stepping forth and knocking their arrows. However, with everyone engaged except Oda, only Oda will be targeted by one of these archers. So, what is Oda's parry, please?
90.
Right.
18.
18. Okay. I mean, that's still really good. Okay. Gandalf rune. May the power of Gandalf protect you. Okay. So an arrow goes whizzing past, but does not connect. All right. So speaking of which, Oda, you are unengaged, so you could charge against Radgul if you wanted to.
Yes.
Or anybody else, for that matter.
No, Radgul.
Radgul it
Belly go.
All right. Go for it.
Okay, and then I get extra dice because of Silamir's.
You
business.
do, yes. You're going to get 1 extra die, and then if you're forward, of course.
Okay.
Oh my god!
Extraordinary success.
Nice. Double.
All right. Wow. Okay. So all extra damage, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
Can I use any of that to free Melly?
I'm going to say that doing 20 endurance to him is going to cause him to drop her. So,
Yeah.
so you show him how to really use an axe, and and come in, and yeah, he drops Melly in order to basically fend you off, and you still manage to break through his defenses and land a fairly punishing series of blows on him that leaves him bleeding from multiple wounds, but he is still on his feet. Okay, Melly, you are dropped, so you can now act accordingly. I'm going to spend 1 hate to make your attack ill-favored, though. He has snake-like speed.
That's cool. So I think what I'm gonna do is, I think what I'd like to do is just I'm just gonna turn around and scramble up to scramble back up to onto my feet and rush at him with my blade again.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah.
So you get +1 dice from Silamir's inspiration.
Yes.
And then if you're forward, of course.
I am forward.
Okay.
So that's 2.
But be sure to check ill-favored.
Yeah, okay, got it. So let's try my best.
And parry is 3.
Parry again, still 3. Extraordinary piercing blow.
What the hell? Y'all. All right, so
That's what happened.
all right, so here's
Fuck
how
yes.
it's going to work. He has hideous toughness.
Hideous.
Hideous. When an attack inflicts damage to the creature, it would cause it to go to 0 endurance, as indeed this attack would. It causes a piercing blow instead. Then, if the creature is still alive, it returns to full endurance. This is like the One Ring's favorite trick for adversaries. So, essentially, you got a piercing blow. That means I have to make 2 protection rolls, right?
All right.
So, here's the
Let's
first
see.
one.
And
injury rating is a 16.
He hates hobbits, lest we forget.
He does. Okay, succeeded on that one.
Only attacks, or was that all rolls against hobbits?
All the creatures rolls. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you. But I did still have favored checked, so there we go. Okay. So that was a favored protection roll. And here's another one. Failure.
No.
Okay. So Melly, you run right in behind this guy and stab him right in where you are pretty sure orc kidneys are located.
Oh,
and
okay.
not only does your blade pierce his vital organs, it severs one of his major arteries, and he is dead before he hits the ground.
What?
You killed Radgul!
Oh my god!
Just like you said you would.
Yeah.
You literally said, I'm going to bury my dagger in this guy's back. And you did.
Main character energy right there. Let's go.
Yes.
So I do that action, right? And
Yeah.
he's falling down, and I'm sort of just amazed, and like you just see me standing there behind him, just holding my sword, my little short sword.
Yeah.
And then I'm just looking around the room, like what else is happening.
Right.
So I'm kind of amazed.
Got this like tar-like orc blood on your blade.
Yeah.
Because they don't hydrate enough, so their blood is very thick. They never offer you any tea when you come.
I thought that was funny. I don't know.
Thank you for the pity laugh. All right, so
it's not. It's genuinely funny to me. I don't know why. All right. Anyway, moving on.
So, moving on indeed. So let's see. That was Oda and Melly. Silumir, you're still fighting your guard, so go for it.
All right.
Okay. And we'll handle their morale fallout at the end of the round here.
And I will actually do some hope since I'm inspired. Might as well do it.
Yeah.
And his parry is 2, right?
2, yes.
Ooh.
Oh.
Y'all have come alive.
A real crappy roll.
Nevertheless,
I hit him with the sword. Yeah,
you did hit him.
I push him back and like hit him with a pommel. As
he
stumbles back to get him away from me.
Nice.
Okay, and Haleth.
All right. So we're going to do the same thing. I'm real low on hope, but I need to spend another point to even remotely try and do anything at this point. So, okay, so we're going to do, so I'm in forward, I'm inspired, right? So it's 3. So I think I'm back to the 4 bonus dice. And so, I mean, fighting this soldier, he probably turns and watches his boss go down. So I'm able to, like, if the sword's on the ground, just kind of like lift it up and just try and swing like as best I can.
Yeah.
And parry of 1.
Oh. Whoa!
Wow. Holy crap.
Fuck?
He's a strong boy.
Yeah.
Seriously,
a hell of a roll.
Extraordinary success.
This is making up for our Pendragon rolls in our other game.
Oh my god.
I swear to God, we had one session where I think how many 20s were rolled, and that's a fumble in Pendragon.
I would say at least between 5 and 7. 5,
including one time 4 20s in a row.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It was bizarre.
Statistically, what is that like?
I calculated it. It's like a 0.00006% chance or something insane.
It was so weird.
Yeah, it was such a freak thing. So
it was
nice to see you guys restoring balance to the force.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, cool. Well, that's the end of that orc. All right.
Gosh.
Okay, so we have basically everyone's unengaged except for Silumir. The archers will be able to fire at the top of the next round. So really we just have the guard who's going to try and hit back at Silumir here. Okay, Silumir's still in open stance. So that's fine. And remind me of your parry. 19. Oops. Okay. He's weak.
Yeah.
All right.
That's what we like to see.
That's what we like to see. Okay, so that takes us to the top of the next round. Now let's deal with the morale implications here. First, let's see. Okay, and also just a note from Melly: wounded heroes who remain active risk being knocked out of combat and recover lost endurance points more slowly. Okay, so you can stop fighting if you want at this point since you are wounded, but that's really up to you. So think about that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Let's see here. Immediately check. Player heroes who are wounded. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, there will be a chance for healing at the end of the combat here. But anyway, all right. So let me see what we want to do. There are no morale rules in this game, sadly. But let's see. I think if their boss gets killed, I mean, that would have a disheartening effect on our fellows here.
For sure.
Okay. I'm gonna say they're gonna start losing hate. Now that Radgul's out, so that will affect how long they're willing to hang out in this fight, basically. Okay. All right. So the Goblin Archers are gonna target Melly, Oda, and Haleth. Melly, your parry, please.
Okay, my parry is 18.
18. Yes. Okay. And
damn, that guy went down. I mean, I'm still like
those were some insane rolls. I mean, you guys. Oof. Okay. All right. So no danger of a wound. You take 3 endurance loss, however.
Okay. So I'm down to 8 at this point.
Yeah. So an arrow nicks you across the face.
I'm weary, by the way.
And you are now weary.
I'm not ill-favored, though, anymore.
So. Correct.
It's weird. I checked it, and when I did my really cool roll, it didn't show that it was ill-favored.
My really cool roll.
It's so cool. And and yet it didn't indicate it was ill-favored. So
well, hey.
I'm going with it.
We're going to go with it.
I did mark it. I just want for the record.
Okay. Oda, your parry is 19, correct? Oh, you're muted.
18.
18. Okay. Silumir is 19. Okay. Oh no! All right. Oh. That damn
I haven't taken damage yet, though.
Okay.
All right.
So you are going to take 5 damage from that, and please make a protection roll.
Ooh.
Oh, fair.
All right. Roll a d12 for me now. Okay. So much like Melly, you are injured, but it's not a severe injury. This will take you 2 days to recover. Okay. All right, and Haleth. Last but not least, parry of...
This might be it.
This might be every single time. This might be it.
This time.
This time. Parry, please.
16.
16. Okay.
That's it.
Oh.
That's it.
So he brings up his blade and slices that one goblin in half. Probably turns triumphantly, fire in his eyes, ready to glare at the next bad guy. And then, the camera would pan down, just see a goblin arrow stuck in his chest. Looks down, and then there's probably a jerk as another one gets him, and it's just a very Boromir, sink to his knees, kind of look up, and then he's on the ground.
No.
Yeah, so even with Radgul taken out, and the series of rather spectacular rolls, you all are still very hard pressed here. And so, Melly, you're sort of leaning against the side of the throne. You're weary. You're wounded. Oda, you've got an arrow sticking out of you. Silumir, you are hard pressed by this guard. And as you see your companion Haleth drop to the ground, suddenly through the double doors, your allies, the freed prisoners, come rushing in, waving their weapons high and screaming their battle cries. So let's see, we have 2 orc soldiers and the guard. So I'm going to say the soldiers get overwhelmed very quickly by the I'm just seeing the Fast and Furious gifs appearing in the chat. Okay. The soldiers get overwhelmed very quickly. The archers are not going to have clear targets on any of you. So really, Silumir, let's just fight it out with the guard here and see what happens.
All right, Silumir sees his
Yeah.
brother in arms like fall to his knees and just lets out a yell and presses hard into this guard in front of him, just taking out his anger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm in front of it. Oops, sorry. I messed that up. I messed it up. I didn't put his parry in there.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
So his
Right.
parry would be 16 to 17. I still would have hit.
You still would have
Yeah.
hit, yeah. Even with the Iris Sauron rune.
Even with the Iris
Yeah.
Sauron, yeah.
Nice. Okay, so yeah, excellent. So let's see. You're hitting him for 5. Do you want to convert?
Yeah, I'll convert the other 2
into
to
damage?
That's another 12, so 17.
Nice. Okay, so in a rage, you hack this guy down. Yeah, he really didn't stand a chance, the bastard.
He did his job keeping us distracted long enough.
Right.
And then Silumir like whips around to the next
Yeah.
any of them that are left.
So whipping around, you see the remaining 2 soldiers getting sort of dragged down and hacked to pieces by this furious mob, and the archers fuck off out of there real fast. And so, just as quickly as it began, the combat comes to an end, and you are left alone, standing in this hall. None of you untouched, and some of you in far worse condition. So for Haleth, you were not wounded a second time. You are down to 0 endurance, however, so we are going to need a healing roll. This is a one-time chance to bring Haleth back from the brink.
That's me, isn't it?
Yeah.
You sound so fatalistic.
Okay.
Oh,
Give it a shot.
do you have any hope to use?
I have hope. I have hope. I've been saving my last 4.
Saving
Can I use
all my
3?
hope for
Yeah.
you. Sadly, you can only spend 1 at a time. So,
Okay.
All right.
do you
God.
have a distinctive feature that would apply?
Yes.
You said that without looking.
Yeah, so much conviction.
Just
but
say yes,
The look
just
on
say
your
yes.
face was like,
Yes.
That's like
Terrified.
3. Yeah.
Let's
I
see what
don't
you
think
have.
so.
Not really, no. Okay, yeah, because that would have counted as inspired. So, all right, so yeah, but you can spend that point of hope, and hopefully.
Wait, is Silumir's inspiration still
no, it's
ringing in our
one round,
ears?
one round
No?
only.
All right, just
Yeah.
checking.
Good to ask.
So stressed.
I know.
Oh
Nope.
no!
Aw.
Oh.
So I imagine you probably run over to check on him, and he's bled out too much at this point. He was weak. He was frail.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
So sad.
Took a pair of arrows right to the chest. Like,
Oh.
it would be one thing if the arrow was only partially in and you could like hack the wound, but if it went all the way through and you're like pulling it, then it's
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
He is. His sightless eyes stare up at you as he bleeds out all over the floor of this cavern.
Ugh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Boo.
All right. So your triumph is somewhat undercut by the loss of your companion, but you do at least have the knowledge that with Radgul dead, the plans for the assault on the Shire die with him. Just slightly out of story, but basically his ambition was to become the new orc war chief of the north and unseat the orcs of Mount Gundabad, which is they're kind of the more well known of the orcs of the north. So he was going to start with an assault on the Shire, which now will not occur. So, how do you all want to leave Mount Graham behind? You have a clear passage out of here. The top level has been cleared, so to speak.
Yeah. Might say we just want to get out, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine Oda's like inconsolable.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'll rush to your side and look at Haleth and I'll close his eyes with my little hobbit fingers.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm just like, we have to go.
Yeah. Silumir comes over and just quietly grabs Haleth's blade and puts it on his own hip, and then hoists Haleth over his shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, we need to leave. You're right.
Okay.
All right. And so the three of you, plus your freed prisoners, march triumphantly out through the demon gate of Mount Graham. Make your way down out of the mountains and out onto the Ettenmoors. And luckily for you, as I've mentioned, at the end of an adventure, you can just get back to wherever the fuck you want to go. So,
Wow.
without me like rolling travel rolls or any of that kind of thing. So, Rivendell is within shooting distance of here. You could also make for Bree or even all the way to Hobbiton. We'll discuss how to memorialize Haleth in a moment, but just in terms of obviously the prisoners are going to be wanting to go back to Bree, but that doesn't mean you all have to as well.
Okay.
So what do you think?
I think stopping in Rivendell would be fine.
Mm-hmm.
I love elves.
Yeah. So I think that would be good.
Right.
And just for now, and then we can, send Haleth on his way, and then we'll be able to escort everyone else back home. I don't know, but that's just my suggestion. I might be missing something.
Okay. Anybody else have any thoughts?
John, where would Haleth have called home?
Yeah. Good question.
Breeland probably is more specific, like not specifically the town, because he was very much like, no, it's my job to be outside the town and guard it. But he's probably like, he probably had some tree that his friends always knew, like, if we need to go find him, we'll leave a note by the tree. He comes by eventually. So there's probably like a tree or a little copse of trees or something in the hills outside Bree that he was most often seen at and could be considered a home for someone who doesn't really have like a permanent locale.
In the Chetwood.
It's the area once we get out, we'll take him to lay him to rest.
Let's do that. Let's do that instead.
Okay. You can always hit up Rivendell later, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
All right. And that actually makes sense because Adelard, your second cousin twice removed, Melly, actually hails from the village of Archit, which is located in the Chetwood. So,
all right.
He, in typical Hobbit hospitality way, says that you all are free to stay at his Hobbit hole for as long as you wish.
Ah. Do you think he'd recognize Haleth? Probably. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, the Chetwood is, as it says here, residents of Bree and the surrounding villages regard the Chetwood as a delightful forest to look upon from atop a hill or even stroll under its eaves during long summer sunsets. But this wide patch of woodland stretches much farther into the north from the slopes of Bree Hill and is a wild place. So, Haleth's burying site will probably be a little further into the woods. Mm-hmm. Wisely, few venture into the heart of the forest where the trees seem as old as time. All right, and so you bear his body back to Bree, um, making the trek quickly, as if you are being hurried on by benevolent spirits watching over you. And so you lay Haleth to rest under his oak tree in the Chetwood, um, no doubt intoning some funereal rites of the Dunedain, whatever those may be.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, your journey comes to an end. A journey which started out so innocently with stealing a map from the nickel delving Matham house and convincing an owl to stop bothering a donkey. Seems like a lifetime ago. Indeed.
Those were the good old days.
Those were the days. But let's do a little fellowship phase anyway, just to kind of put a button on it, you know. So
is that when we get our new hope points?
Indeed, everything refreshes.
What?
All right, so your I'm gonna say this fellowship phase will last the remainder of the season. So a couple of months. Everybody heals up.
Okay.
You can train. Oh, hello.
Whoa.
No, we don't need that. We don't need that.
Can we have some nice music?
I'm trying. I meant to do that, and then I got caught up in the. All right. So, sorry.
All right.
The Pleasant Forest. All right. So, yeah. So you can train your skill points. You can buy extra valor or wisdom ranks. So I'll repost this in the chat here. There you go. Spiritual recovery, yes. Oh, you automatically recover a number of hope points equal to your heart score. You don't recover all of them until Yule. God, that's brutal. Okay, so however, if the adventuring phase resulted in what can be considered a positive outcome in the fight against the encroaching shadow, you can remove a number of shadow points. Okay, so recover hope equal to your heart score. And then I weigh the actions of the company against the broader context of the Twilight of the Third Age. Okay. So you have actively hindered or damaged the enemy. So everyone can remove up to 2 shadow points.
Okay.
What is the heart score? Because I see the current hope. Oh, they're 2. Okay, I got it.
Yeah. Yeah, your heart is a 2. Dwarves have no heart.
Why is there a taint score?
Don't worry about that. I don't know. Taint is if you do like soul shattering things, like murdering people and stuff like that.
Okay.
So, I think magic of the enemy can also give you a taint score. It's like when Frodo gets stabbed with the Morgul blade, you know.
Again, probably something that I would have play tested differently, just because gamers are 12 mentally. But you know,
hey, they got to meet this game where it's at. They got to meet Middle Earth where it's at.
How many adventure points do we get?
3. You get 3 adventure and 3 skill points. And then, lastly, as you all are figuring out how to spend that, you get a number of activities to choose undertakings. Okay, you have a single undertaking in addition to 1 additional undertaking based on callings. Okay, so I will review this while you all are figuring out how to spend your points. Y'all never had to dip into your fellowship points, though. So remember, that's a pool of shared hope points. So there is that. Still have that. Oh, and does Silumir keep Haleth's sword, or did it get buried with him?
I was thinking about that. feel like the respectful thing would be to pass it on to a descendant or family member to keep the fight going. Because burying a useful weapon like that is not pertinent. It's not something that any of them would want. So he'd take it and try and find a young up-and-coming ranger that is ready to take the next steps and pass the legacy of Haleth on. Those in his magical boots that he got.
His magic boots!
What do we use adventure points for again? I'm forgetting.
Adventure points are for your valor or wisdom scores if you want to buy those up. Or you can pick, what is it called? A virtue. You can buy a new virtue.
And then I think adventure is also for combat skills.
And combat skills, yes. Yeah. Yes.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
Rough.
Mm-hmm. Oh, shoots. Okay. I could just hold on to them.
Absolutely.
Okay, I think I might do that.
If we ever put these characters up again, I'll level them up, but...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Alright. Cool.
Okay. So, mostly, though, I think Haleth deserves a song. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
So, which type? You can write a lay, short narrative poem, particularly appropriate to narrate heroic deeds that might be recited or sung at gatherings, a song of victory, to sing a stirring song in combat to lift spirits and renew lust for battle, or a walking song, which is what you wrote for Fen, and that makes traveling easier.
I feel like... who's deciding this?
Amongst you.
The group?
Yeah.
I would propose victory, considering how stalwart he was through the whole battle. And even though he was so weak, he still continued to fight the whole time, which I think would be empowering to hear during a battle. So that's my suggestion.
I agree.
Yeah. So we can talk about how he, just endured despite the odds, and that we could do the same.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay. And on the chances that we do come back to play again, we'll do our little debrief here, so we'll see. Now, Silamir's a champion, right? Is that his role?
Silamir is a... Oh, actually, let me check out how to write it down. Whatever the leader one is.
Yeah.
Captain.
Captain. Okay.
Oh.
Okay. So in that case, hold on. Let me just see here. Company including a champion. Blah blah blah. Okay. So writing the song was actually your one activity for the fellowship phase. Because you don't have a warden. Okay.
Not anymore.
Boo!
Oh.
All right. Well, that would have given you an opportunity to pick up some rumors, but sadly.
Come on.
Sorry.
Give him a rumor.
Give him a rumor.
All right.
He takes it to the grave with him.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's right.
You know he was felled by 42 arrows?
That's right.
Yeah.
The number goes up every time.
Yeah.
96 arrows. Amazing.
At least 112.
I'll just say, all right, fine. We'll leave off saying that travelers have arrived in the port of Londair, which is all the way down here on the map. I'm pinging it. Ping, ping, ping. There it is. The port of Londair, claiming to be fleeing a growing darkness in Mordor and asking about hiring guides to lands further north. They are hungry for news and will pay in gold for word of a place called Imladris.
That sounds like an issue for some elves to take on.
Sounds
Seriously.
like elf business.
It does sound like elf business to me, which I'm welcome.
Yes. All right. So that was Ruins of the Lost Realm, everybody.
Wow.
Yay.
Yay, everybody.
Hey.
I'll start. So
wait, what?
Debriefing.
Yes.
It was just interesting to me because this is a sandbox setting. So meaning basically what happened was based on your decisions as players of where you wanted to go. And that was all kind of just based off of, hey, here's a rumor of some stuff going on in Lake Evendim. And it just kind of went from there. And so, yeah, we kind of wandered into the hard mode part of the map, sadly. You fought an ancient evil and then fought a lot of undead because this was the undead part of the map. So, but I did like how it tied in with the Shire ultimately with Mount Graham. So that was cool. But anyway, just watching it from a GM perspective, it was like, oh, I guess things panned out in that direction.
Was that good or bad or like?
I mean, I felt a little bad, like I felt like, geez, this was probably harder than it would have been had there been like other, another rumor to follow or whatever. But it is what it is, So, and I can chime in on other people's thoughts. So I don't know. Marley, you had some strong feelings about the shadow mechanics?
I did, yes. I kind of alluded to it in the Discord early on when I first started formulating this opinion, and then it just got solidified the more we played. I think the shadow mechanic is unnecessarily harsh. And it's one thing if it was driven by player choice, like if we made decisions, but not once did it happen because we did something. It was all the world punishing us for playing the game and engaging with it. And again, I also still wouldn't be so against it if there was a way to mitigate it. But the only way to mitigate it is just raise this one stat over and over again, and then hope you get these very few random events or things that will get rid of shadow points, because otherwise it's a spiral. And I've always, I know maybe I'm just not the intended audience for that thing. I can understand people like that thing. It's not knocking it for people that enjoy it, but that is very much not in something that I enjoy. It's controversial to say here, I understand this, but it's the same issue I have with sanity points in Call of Cthulhu. I don't like that feeling. It's but at least in Call of Cthulhu, I'm willingly reading the stupid book.
That's the buy-in.
In this one, it's like if someone held me down and put the book in my face and was like, there you go.
Yeah. And again, I'm not sure if that's a function of the fact that you were in undead country. And that they have a lot of dread attacks, because there's actually 3 sources of shadow. There's dread, sorcery, and greed. And greed is like kind of the player agency side of things, right? That's like, sort of to John's point, like if you're playing this game like a bunch of, no offense to 12-year-olds, but murder hobos, you're going to be racking up a lot of greed related shadow points potentially. Sorcery is much like dread, it can be an attack against you, but it's rare because you're not running into sorcerers a lot. Dread, that came up a lot in this campaign, and again, I'm wondering, that probably was partly down to just fighting a lot of undead and ancient
it probably
peoples.
was.
Yeah.
And I guess it's just also kind of falls on that, like, there's 2 systems we're managing. We're managing shadow. We're also managing in combat. We're managing like endurance, hit points, fatigue. Hope. Like there's just 4 different dials that we constantly twist.
It's a lot of dials. Yeah.
Hit points and things it's combat, but we have choices we can make. We can choose to run away. We can choose to fight defensively. There's all sorts of things. But it just felt like the shadow mechanic itself, our only option was roll high enough or just permanent negative consequences.
Yeah.
Especially since it's kind of like, hey, you should be spending hope points. It's like that brings you closer to being miserable.
Yes.
And I think if like the fellowship phase gave you all your hope points back, that's one thing. But the fact that it's like Oda got 2 hope points back, like, come on. Like, damn.
I know there
it can even be double your heart or something, like
there is something in Fellowship to get rid of shadow. It's only in Yule, but you can get rid of shadow that way.
Right.
But that's like once every 3 sessions is the or once every 3 fellowship phases.
Yeah, exactly.
Recommends. Yeah, it's
right.
I don't know. I'm just maybe I'm being salty and I'm being unnecessarily harsh.
I don't know
totally favorable.
No, I don't know that you're being salty. And then I will say I deliberately, when I knew I was going to be joining this campaign, I deliberately didn't look at the books. I've played a ton of first edition. I've dabbled in converting things to second edition.
I'm curious.
But most of what I was doing was focused on kind of just converting the big, if Call of Cthulhu has masks of Nyarlathotep, the One Ring has the Darkening of Mirkwood. And the Darkening very much starts you off with spiders and goblins and things that aren't going to evoke shadow points. You're just bopping them on the head and moving on.
Yeah.
And I think it's a function of this campaign, this area of the map that we're in, that it's a lot more dread. It's a lot more spooky stuff. And maybe we did cause a lot of that by wandering into the areas that we necessarily shouldn't have. They're fun story-wise, and it worked out fine. Yeah, okay, characters die. The Middle Earth setting is low magic. It's not gritty, but it's not... Your characters are never going to be OP. You have to kind of scrabble for every resource that you can. I didn't mind so much the hit points as endurance thing. The mechanical side of things, I'm not too glad on one way or the other. It's an interesting system. It's a different way of doing things than just tracking hit points.
Yeah.
I think where the holes in the system that it showed me with this is that you don't really have levels in the One Ring, but we were considerably low-ish level for what we were trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
If we had a few fellowship phases under our belt, we would have had better stats. We would have been more prepared to protect ourselves against certain things. So it does kind of feel like wandering into a zone that we were slightly under-leveled for. We did find we accomplished regardless. That point was great. But I think the shadow points were really stacking against us because we weren't designing our characters to face those particular threats.
Yeah.
We designed characters that were fun, which you should always do. But it did feel a little bit like the system was punishing us for playing for fun rather than playing for efficiency. I don't think that's the way it was designed, but that's kind of the feeling, because once Haleth was kind of on the downward spiral, there wasn't really arresting that spiral. Because
I know. I felt bad about that. Like, you spent so much time unconscious in this game. Like,
but it is what it is, and it's fine and it's fun. But the alternative would have been, all right, I guess we're going to stop doing this. That we're going to stop this attack. We're going to go run off with Haleth for 3 weeks to go hide out in the woods to try and recover so that we can come back and do this again. Narratively, that doesn't make a lot of sense.
Doesn't make sense.
So it's not like D&D or Pathfinder or any of those where you're like, aha, I'm the cleric, I boop you on the head and you're fine, let's keep going. So
plus,
like the rest of us, just get it over with. Yeah,
exactly. No, and like characters in Tolkien are constantly pushing themselves, right? They're constantly like, okay, sure, like my arm's kind of broken in 5 places, but I'm gonna keep going, so it's even like, I think the game does a really good job of emulating the stories most of the time, but something like that, it's like, that's actually that doesn't emulate the stories. Like, if the mechanics are encouraging you to take a break and go, like have some downtime and then be like, all right, let's get back into it. No, there should be like once you're in it should be like pushing you along and not punishing you for that. So
and it's kind of there is the rest mechanic, but you were wounded, so you couldn't rest anyway.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Nadja, this is your second ever campaign. You learned that characters can die in games. What else? Any other thoughts? Did you like it? Did you have a good time?
I mean, I had a good time because I like you all. And it was fun. It was fun.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. I think like as a new person and as like a personality, like how I like read books and watch movies and do things, I got very attached to characters and very invested in characters, and so it's like I'm still salty about Finn.
That was rough. And
then I was thinking about it too, and it understands. And this session changed my mind a bit. What Melly taking Roger down shifted it for me. But I was thinking about, I think I was listening to the last episode in the car and just like thinking, driving and thinking.
Sure,
and
as one does.
Like and this has nothing to do with like gaming. Like I don't know anything about gaming, so it's just like my complaint, or like where I kind of came to where I was really frustrated with is like Lord of the Rings. This is gonna sound so weird, but like as a philosophy, right? Like the point of the story and why he wrote it, and it's supposed to, in my mind, it's supposed to be about yes, there are very dark things, and even the smallest, of us with great heart can turn the tide, and every hobbit had this like pivotal role, and all the the dwarves, and so it's like to have it feel so bleak and so dark, and the odds, and it makes sense to what you're saying, is that we kind of stumbled into uh, more advanced level, that it's like the whole game isn't like that. But that's kind of where I was getting like salty, was like, this should feel like we're, I don't know, it sounds so Pollyanna or something, but
no, but it makes sense.
Triumphing over evil. Like, we don't tell stories about
I
think it depends.
Evil came to the world, and then all the people who fought it died.
Got fucked up.
I think it depends on what game you're playing, because like we've mentioned a couple times, in Call of Cthulhu, there is no the word is escaping me. You're not supposed to survive. Basically, you go in knowing that you're going to die.
Lovecraft. You're not expecting
exactly correct. And I think what I'm noticing between the two editions so far, at least narratively, is that in first edition for the One Ring, it starts you at a point like the first session you're supposed to play is like the 5-year anniversary of the Battle of Five Armies. So it's like, remember that cool thing, and like you're still kind of post-war hype of like, we beat him back. And then because it takes place 30 game years, so 4 fellowship phases per year times 30 years, you watch the kind of slow, gradual, because eventually it does go into the Lord of the Rings where the Nazgul are out and it's a big deal, and but you're kind of there watching the slip, and that slip is coming. And I think the problem is it's hard to emulate a game like this, and really any fantasy IP, but especially Lord of the Rings. Everyone has such a connection to Lord of the Rings. You remember when you first read the books or saw the movies or whatever, and those feelings when you first experienced those. And it's hard to tell ancillary stories to those main stories without it not feeling like the same thing. You kind of expect all your stories to run like those stories, and that's not necessarily the case it's going to be, because as is notorious, the older generation of us gamers know, generally gamers hate railroads. We want to have our own input on the story. We want to be able to say the thing that changes the way. Like, we don't want to recreate the movies or the books. Some people want that. Railroads are generally not, so then you go into a sandbox where, okay, now it's none of it happens, because you could make the butterfly effect decision that so Gandalf doesn't show up to the Shire, doesn't give the ring to Frodo, et cetera, and it all depends on the group dynamics and the conversations. But I think that's the hard part, especially for newer players with this, is if you walk in anticipating that it's going to be like the movies or the books, which is no fault of your own, because that's what you kind of, that is the media.
The game attempts to do that too.
Right. It's trying to emulate that feel.
Yeah.
But it doesn't want to emulate those stories, because those stories have already been told. So then it becomes reliant on the lore master to tell a story.
Right.
And me personally, I don't know if I would have been satisfied with let's just retell The Hobbit, but with these characters instead, or let's just retell the Fellowship of the Ring.
Right.
So it's a hard place to be, especially as a new gamer. I think you did a good job, Nudge, just because you were engaged and you were having fun and you were totally into it. At the same time, did Oda act like the dwarves in Lord of the Rings act? No.
Right.
Do the dwarves in Rings of Power act like? And that's why they're getting flack on that end too. Like, it's a hard setting to kind of drop into and decide I want to emulate this, but I only want to, I want you to objectify it. But only objectify it the proper amount. Any less or any more, I'm going to have a problem with. But the needle has to be right on to make it work. It did feel dark and gloomy. I don't mind that. I read, the Malazan Book of the Fallen and Grimdark Fantasy, so it doesn't bother me so much, but I can see how it would affect someone who was expecting more of we're going to an 11th birthday party vibe, and you ended up watching your best friend get pincushioned by goblins under a mountain.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, but I think we could. Yeah, I think there's a psychological argument to be made of like a hero's journey, like I don't. The Lord of the Rings is quite dark. It only spends 2 chapters in the Shire.
Yeah.
Right, and then it immediately takes a dark spiral. But one of the reasons why I love this story is most of these characters are confronting their own insecurities and weaknesses, right? And then when they are doing that and overcoming that is when they rally, 10 minutes. And so that's, I don't know, that's kind of that's the hero's journey is a archetype,
right?
Storytelling for a reason, right? So, but yeah, I hear what you're saying totally.
Des, what do you think?
I think that, let's see, when I have a gaming experience and being the semi-seasoned player, I think I am. I mean, I view that playing a game, any game like this, is just a way to channel a story. And so it's another tool that we can use to tell a story. And some of us are really great at it, and other people play for totally different reasons. They play because they like to play in a system, or they like to play in the world, or they want to experiment and try a different thing, not necessarily to tell a story. So for me, my goals for playing is always in service to the story. And even though it might be painful at times and I may complain, I think this is the story that we're telling with this. And so, similar to, just to piggyback off of what everyone has been saying, as a system, does it give you what you want in terms of the Lord of the Rings experience? Yeah, I would say it does. Did we venture into spaces that we may not have been necessarily most adept at? Yeah, we did that too. And were we able to be essentially a group of total strangers at the start of it, to try to understand how each other plays, what we want to get out of the game, the experience, and feel maybe a little closer to each other at the end of it? Absolutely. That also happened. So all these things happened, which is to me the magic of playing these types of games.
Yeah.
Do I want to come in? I learned a lot being out of my comfort zone, playing a character that I usually don't play a character that has more soft power. I play a lot of heavy hitters, especially in our World of Darkness games. I play characters that are very they're tricked out, they're souped up, they're just they're able to just be incredibly effective at addressing the problems in those worlds very well and very confidently. I had the opportunity to play a character where that was not the case, and she learned a lot, and it was hard. So that made it very challenging to play. But you all made it easy because you were all fully committed to the characters that you chose to play or had to choose once your initial character was removed from the board, so to speak. And so I think we all handled that very well. So for me, just from my subjective experience, which is all I can speak from, would I revisit this world? Yes, but I would revisit it as an elf. I would definitely want to play it again as an elf, where I would feel like I'd have a different view of the world, a different way of seeing the world. It might feel just as frustrating because we're interacting with men and dwarves who really don't have the same values or priorities as elves do, so it'll be frustrating in a new way. So even though it was frustrating, it was still fun because I think we were all sharing that load, so to speak.
I agree.
Yeah.
And um and so I think if you want this type of an experience to play, and I think not just like to speak to the philosophy of it all, I think it's a very interesting philosophy to explore through a game. Like, I don't know what any other system, I mean, every system I think gives you the opportunity to explore the philosophy. I think we, I think we tripped into certain places where we're like, oops, like a hobbit shouldn't be here, right?
Yeah.
Like this is no place for a hobbit kind of feeling as we were in it. So it's kind of that feeling when you watch a movie and at the end of the movie you're like, huh.
I'm gonna
But
need to think about this one.
yeah, like I'm really gonna have to like be like, oh, the director wanted me to feel this way at the end of it.
Right.
Like for good or for ill.
Hmm.
So I would be willing to play again as an elf. So I wouldn't completely set it aside. However, it was pretty tough at times. And I think that came through. At least, I mean, I think we all acknowledged each other's dismay and
Frustrations.
frustrations. Is I
I'm
don't know
just
if it
glad the
came.
dice came through on this session because if it had ended with the
Oh,
TPK, I would have just gone, all right, bye everybody.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, Melly taking down Roger was perfection.
dude, epic,
so good, such a payoff,
right?
such a payoff.
So, and when it hits nicely, it's good, and it's just like, oh, thank God. But it's also like,
Yeah,
yeah,
There were
so
highs and highs and low lows. Like,
yeah,
there was-
exactly.
This was
Yes,
a game
we
of
were
peaks
there.
and valleys. That's for
Very
sure.
much so, very much so. So I think
And
that's just how I feel overall.
Yeah.
like just speaking of like kind of wandering into the wrong part of the map. I mean that does even happen in Fellowship where they're like, let's cut across the Barrow Downs, and the lore master's like, oh my god, like I guess I'm gonna have to get Tom Bombadil to bail your asses out, like
Yeah,
if
yeah.
we're gonna continue with this campaign.
Right,
So
right.
again, I feel like the game does a great job for the most part, with the exceptions noted, of emulating the feel of the stories, but the
Yeah.
feel of the stories is pretty harrowing. And I think to John's point, that may be where you can critique the second edition approach the most, which is like it's just kind of throwing you in there, and rather than like kind of easing you in a more gentle way. And
Yeah, I just want to say something really quickly, just to say that like, yeah, I felt like the shadow part was needlessly cruel. Like, I think it was a little cruel.
It's something that could be house ruled for sure.
I think
Yeah.
I mean, and I play. It's not like World of Darkness is the edgiest game to play, but playing vampires and like,
and you play Call of Cthulhu too.
I play and I play
Yeah.
Call of Cthulhu, so I know. I mean, and doing horror on the Orient Express, that is grueling. Like that's grueling. It was giving me flashes of that, which felt like shit, and I don't always like. So that's why like playing like a long-term Call of Cthulhu campaign like Horror on the Orient Express, you do brace yourself for those inevitabilities. However, what makes these stories important are the humanity pieces and the hope pieces that people bring, and I would say, yeah, people bring that to a hard situation that you're in. And so I think in that way, considering our current climate, and there's no good time to play anything, but right now it just felt particularly grueling because of everything that we've been asked to confront and endure over the past couple months.
Yeah.
So, and I'm speaking, and of course, future me might be laughing their ass off at past me saying this, but yeah, things have been challenging. And so to have them to not feel effective in the game during a time where I think a lot of us are sort of grasping for feeling capable and resilient, it can be a challenge to play a game like this. But I want to come back as an elf, because at least I would feel like I'd have a little bit of an edge.
You want to come back as the boomer of Middle Earth. Got it.
HDU, how dare you? Anyway, that's all I have to say. But it's been a pleasure, absolute pleasure playing with both all of you. And David, I'm curious, just like if there's anything else you want to add about running it, or like your feelings about running a game.
Tip of the hat, honestly, because the books do make running it easy, other than learning the system, which, like, as we've been saying, is like has so many little subsystems and little dials and all this other shit. You know, it's like, wait, how does, you know, what's the difference between miserable and weary, you know, and like
right,
just all these different things. But you know, Ruins of the Lost Realm, my advice to other lore masters, other LMs, would be maybe start it out in one of the more low intensity parts of the map, and then just kind of try and guide it from there. I was a victim of my own naivete as well as you guys were, where I was just like, I didn't realize, like, oh shit, you're going to this really hard part of the map, and probably like they should have little difficulty ratings for each one of these like plots, because basically like it gives you a bunch of different plots. So you guys did 2. You did the lake, and then you did Mount Graham. And if like opponents have ratings, they have attribute ratings that give you an idea of how tough they are. But like if the scenario also did that, it'd be very helpful, you know. But anyway, it made it easy to run though. It was pretty straightforward. A little light on details sometimes, which was frustrating. But other than that, it was fine, you know. It sort of matched the energy of the system, which is sort of like both rules light but also weirdly complicated at the same time. So would run again, although with Haleth Dead, I know John, you're like chomping at the bit to run it, so I wouldn't mind experiencing the system from a player side of things. You know.
All elf party coming in, let's go.
All elf,
I would
baby.
absolutely
Elf
run it,
baby.
and I would absolutely run Darkening, just because.
Yeah.
Well, but again, this is if we're just talking out loud, right?
Yeah.
We're just
right.
How do I say this? The one fault I have with 1 edition or first edition is that a lot of the story hooks really kind of rely on the players being connected. So you joke about an all elf party. There's almost no reason for an all elf party to do the stuff in the beginning of the campaign the way it's written. It would require a bunch of rewriting because it's supposed to be focused on the woodsman, and hobbits are a good intro. You also get Bjornings, the followers of Beorn. Yeah. And that's kind of a good, but it's written specifically for like, okay, you have these few options. These are the way we can connect the stories. There's not a whole lot that a whole reason for a whole lot of full elf parties to go around and do things. That's obviously reliant on the lore master. That's like game mechanic stuff. But and I think that's one of the other major differences is with the One Ring, there aren't a lot of combinations. With a lot of other games, we're talking the same kind of epic fantasy, so D&D or Pathfinder or whatever. So many, you know, class and whatever has very little status on the story itself. The story is the classes serve you as you go out the story. With the One Ring and Lord of the Rings, it's all very intrinsically tied. So it has to be, why are these characters doing this thing? And if you don't figure out a suitable reason, it feels kind of fake to begin with. Like I can't imagine trying to do like the Fellowship of the Ring with all elves. That the way the story is written and the world is set doesn't really make a whole lot of sense.
Right.
But that being said, and it's very kind of, Darkening is a very human-centric, just because it takes place in a different area of the map. It's Mirkwood and Lake Town, and, you know, the dwarves are there too, but that's about it.
Sure.
I would absolutely run it in a heartbeat. It's at least, you know, along with Pathfinder, it's one of the systems that I know easily enough that I can do it without thinking too hard. And there's not a whole lot of conversion stuff between first and second edition anyway, so that makes it easier. But it's definitely a system to get used to, and it is not necessarily for those. It requires kind of a specific set of play styles, is the way I'll phrase it. Because if you are like you said yourself said, if the players are dumb enough to walk in the front door and be like, "Bring it on,"
kill them
that's going to be
all.
a problem, right?
Right.
And a lot of D&D players would think that way because that's what they're used to. They're like, we are the heroes
that's
of the
level
story.
one of the dungeon. That's where we go in.
Right. The whole point is we're going in and we are going to be the heroes. Whereas it's a much more narrative-focused arc for Lord of the Rings, where you have to think of yourselves as perishable, as humans. There's not going to be an Elminster that shows up and starts throwing fireballs around and says, go do this thing. So it's all the, you know, like any game.
Mhm.
It's what you want to play, it's what you want to run, it's the world you want to be immersed in, and it's the kind of stories you want to tell. But yeah, no, I would absolutely run it, especially for this group. I would run this group through Darkening in a heartbeat. You might not survive to the end, but it would be a lot of fun.
That makes sense. Sounds right.
I posted in the chat too. I said, or the Mines of Moria.
Yes.
Since that supplement's out, play all dwarves. Go into
there
Moria.
there is a Moria set.
It's all dwarves.
And we could even pivot the existing group. I mean, if Des wants to do an elf, but we have a dwarf treasure hunter in the party. You know what I mean? Like
I would like to be an elf somehow dragged into this dwarf.
That'd be hilarious.
Adventure,
and you're just
actually.
like
Dwarf,
the whole time.
I just get to play a Vulcan.
Just like making a stink face the entire time you're in Moria.
It's just like Spock, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm like, oh yeah, there's the Moria set. Oh, they just put out the elf source book. So like I'm not like, you know, fuck this game, I never play this game again, you know.
No,
but
and I will say that one of the their credit, one of the first things they did is they came out with little $3 supplements that were, here are all the cultures from first edition, converted over to second edition for you. So like I'm curious about the elf book only because they've now covered two in other documentation. They've covered two of the elf supplements already, because they've got the wood elf, which is the 1E version that they've upgraded in a different life path book, and then they've got the I think it's the Greyhaven elves, or and they've got the Rivendell elves. So I'm wondering if it's just a compilation, or if there's new material, or if they've written it out differently. But they've technically gotten all of the elf cultures out there beforehand, so you could pick where you wanted to be from, and I would just be curious to see. But yeah, I'm not opposed to it, but again, it's a different kind of story.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we can have one elf. Any other thoughts, Marley, Nadja, Des, anybody?
I'm good.
Yeah,
this is a blast playing with you guys.
Yeah,
had a great time. I did have a great time. It was very gripping. I'll say
and we
that
had
much.
a very satisfactory conclusion.
We did.
Yeah, it worked out.
That was it worked out well, surprisingly.
Yeah, I know, right?
Direction, we did it.
Finally, your dice kicked in.
Yeah.
Like,
Poor Hal had to have that main character energy. He's like, I'm going to make it to the last session.
And then we beat the boss, and then you die in like the scene in between.
Again, very thematic, scene. Very appropriate. So,
that worked. That was really cool. No, I really appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah,
of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
This was a lot of fun.
I hope we're able to get back together and do this again sometime. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right.
Sorry, we had a dog appearance.
We had a sweet dog, I know.
Yeah, so sweet. Oh, there he is.
He's a puppy dog.
What are you doing?
We watched him grow up. He was real itty bitty when he first came in. Now
Like
he's
twice as big.
Yeah, he is.
Oh.
Is he teething? Is he trying to chew your fingers off?
Oh my god. So sweet.
Yeah, hopefully we're able to do this again.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes.
Totally.
We will reconvene and figure out the next phase, next game.
Yeah.
Soon-ish.
Schedules
permitting.
Permitting. Vampire duets permitting, etc.
Yes.
All right. Well, in the meantime, take care, everybody.
Yes, please do, and feel free to put stuff in this chat. You know, our little group chat.
Yeah, we still shit post in our Batman server from our Batman games like a year ago. Yes. So, yeah, absolutely. Feel free to share stuff there. And
absolutely.
Thank you, John. This was so much fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
John. Thanks, Marley. Thanks,
no, I called you John.
Well, John brought the game to us.
Yes.
So,
I meant to say David.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you too, John. And
yes.
Marley. Thank you to everybody. Honestly,
David and I look so incredibly similar. It's hard to tell us apart.
Yes. So we both have this gigantic beard.
It's the mustache. That.
Yeah, that.
I have to have this or I get kicked out of the Pacific Northwest. So that's my excuse.
True. Yeah, you have that beard.
Yeah.
Makes sense. All right. Hang in there. Right. See you later.
See you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. I'd like to take a moment to thank all of our patrons, both past and present. And thanks, as always, to those of you backing us at priest level and above. This includes Jonathan Morgantini, Marley Griffin, James Gilbreth, Hunt Cal, Jathar 132, Mika Turtianen, N.J. Colton, Ptolemy, and Just Barbarian Things.